وخمار شوي area crossroads.
Artinian Shunlai, everybody, and welcome to Walk the Crossroads. Tonight we're going to be doing kind of a short discussion on what is the publishing or editing process, what I've been going through, and kind of what to expect. So the first thing I want to say is, as a writer, you want to make sure that at the end of the day that you can complete your typescript and that you can actually deliver what you're talking about. If you're not currently in a contract with the publisher, you've probably got more than enough time to finish up your manuscript. At this point, you're probably looking for agents or trying to contact someone to help you, or even pitching an idea to a publisher themselves. So, first things first, if you have not done this already, you want to locate someone, even if they're not a professional, who has a good sense of grammar and story to be your editor. If you are currently looking for an editor to hire or to hook up with, to work with, you want to find someone that actually specifically can bring out your inner voice as a writer. What you don't want is someone who's going to tell you everything to change it just for commercial. You want to find someone who knows the kind of writer you can be or what the kind of writer you are, and helps you to bring out who you are, your artistic, as I just said, your voice, but also your artistic style, and to improve it. The other thing you want to consider is locating people many of us call beta readers, people, or just average people of different walks of life. They can be martial artists, they can be housewives, house husbands, significant others of different people, or even CEOs, or whatever you're looking for. Normal people who can represent the kind of people you want to buy the book. You want to get their opinion on things, from characters to how the book reads, the rhythm, how the sentences move. Get them to give them just general feedback, and if you can, help you make it even better. I had a friend who pointed out to me that it would be a little bit easier for her to understand the world if I provided a bit more tidbit of information to define something as the capital of a specific country, to be a little bit more exposition-y in the open, but to kind of spread it out. And then I mentioned then someone told me to kill my darlings, which meant pull off these big, glowing, descriptive paragraphs from dialogue to free up the dialogue. So those kind of comments, you're probably not going to necessarily figure out on your own. You can edit and keep editing the book as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you have to hand this manuscript over to someone else to read it so you can get their opinion. If you don't have the tenacity or the pull or the gumption to finally finish that manuscript and let someone else look at it, you're never going to get that book published. You're going to continually sit on it. If you look at Patrick Rothfuss, he has been published. If you look at Cameron Hurley, she has been published. If you look at J.R.R. Martin, no matter how long he focuses on his book, he has been published. Scalzi has been published. These people have provided, they have made money, they have made power, and they have reputation. Therefore, they can take their time to write. You, as an unknown, or as a barely known writer, you don't necessarily have that ability unless you've found a publisher who's very understanding. One of my favorite recent writers, Fletcher Delancey, she was a fiction writer for many years, and then she hooked up with a publisher, Ilva Publishing, and she finally redid one of her fan fiction writings as her own trilogy, The Chronicles of Alzea, and they're really good. And she actually made a really good point about how a friend of hers who was a martial artist and other friends who had different, points of view actually made points about how certain things didn't work. Like, if you have a friend who understands combat, great way to fix up your action scenes. You have someone who has a really good grasp of how people talk. Help with those dialogue scenes. And it's also a good idea to have friends. I have my staff at Das Weird. We make decisions as a group to a point. They say, let's fix it here, let's fix it here. They're also reading the book, so they have a good point of how to fix it. So, once you've found an editor, I'm just going to describe this. There's generally what we call substantive or structural editors, and they're the ones who help you with plot, voice, flow, and characterization. They're going to help you make the general story better. Okay? They're not focusing on the actual grammar of the prose, they're focusing on the substance. Then you have proof editors or copy editors who go through and actually, fix up the grammar itself. Okay? They're the ones who are going to go through and say, no, you cannot do this, you have this tense, this entire sentence doesn't make sense, that sort of thing. Then you have proofreaders, who are the ones who take the script and really make sure it's all aligned and clean and looking good. So you're going to go through multiple drafts. I'm currently on my 4th or 5th. We're going to be probably going through 7 or 8. I know of people who go through even more than that because they've been able to have more time. I'm on a strict schedule, so we have to keep managing this. If you are not sure what you want your cover to look like, so really as a writer, you need to think about what is also going into the book. Are you going to get a map? Are you going to have an appendices? Are you going to have a fancy artistic cover or realistic cover? Different styles of book. An urban romance fantasy will have a different kind of cover than an epic fantasy. Manga have completely different style. My cover for my book, I want the style to be specifically taken from the painterly style of Avatar: The Last Airbender and also from manga, because we're really connecting to the East and to other parts. We're including a map, hieroglyphic pictures. It's kind of a full package. We thought out how the book is going to be. So as a writer, you want to consider, how your book is going to be. And you can also, when you hook up with the publisher, you find a publisher or an agent, they will help you figure this out. Or they'll actually be able to say, it'd be really good if we had this and this and this, and I'll help you find someone. And they'll give you an idea. So when and if you actually get a contract or an agreement with the publisher, they'll probably want a deadline for when the typescript is done. What also this will include is and they'll work it out with you. They'll say how many royalties you get on the book itself. They'll also talk about what kind of licensing, such as if the book gets different editions in different languages, if there's any kind of product or merchandise from the book. That's the thing you want to consider. I'm bringing that up because as the author, you want to consider that. If that is brought up, read through it. Anyway, advance, you're probably not going to get a big advance if you get one. I know Das Fear at the moment, I'm considering if we're going to even do advances because it's incredibly expensive right now for publishers, and we pretty much have only the capital that us as people make with our current everyday jobs or what we have as money from previous jobs. So we're a little bit limited. I can't be paying $5,000 to an author who hasn't delivered. So look at how much your advance is going to get, and then also look at how many edits you're going to get. Once you've delivered the typescript, they're going to put it through copy editing and proofreading, where they're cleaning it all up. And then you, as a writer, as the author, will be given so many, proof or changes you can make after a point. They do this because some writers and authors will just keep toiling away saying, no, change this paragraph, change that paragraph. No, I don't like this characterization. At some point, you have to say, no, it's done, and it has to move forward, because a book does need to go and does need to get delivered. There is something to be said about giving more time to make it better, but at the end of the day, you can't just keep working on something and never deliver when you are especially someone who has not actually produced a book yet. Once you've gone, you've made some money, you've sold, a few hundred copies, then you can start getting a little bit more demanding about, I want more edits and more like that. So work through the process, find a publisher that really jives with you, and you'll kind of produce what you want to. I'm not going to give some of my experiences with this process. This is the first book I've ever published, Threefold Seer, Volume 1 of the Nightingale Trilogy. We have had to really make this up as we go along. Yes, there is a process to be had with experienced publishers. A lot of these people have editors who have done this for years, and they're super experienced. I'm putting this together with friends I've known for several years, but I'm the only one who's actually in publishing school. The rest of us have degrees in other things, and we're having to apply it as necessary. We're not just publishing the book, we're also hiring the artist out, outsourcing the artist, and we're probably trying to figure out how we're going to print it. I, as someone who's not just the author, I have to figure out if this book is going to be printed on demand, if it's going to be an ebook, if it's going to be a reflowable ebook. So there's a lot to think about, especially if you're self-publishing. If you're publishing through Kindle, Kindle is your publisher. You're not self-published. If you go through Kindle, Kindle will be marked as your publisher. So that's another thing to consider. Independent publishing, you need to figure out how much ownership. That's the other thing to mention. Who owns the copyright? Who owns the license to the book itself? something like, for example, you might have a license that says a publisher can produce a given edition of your book, and they only have the right to produce that edition. That's why you get multiple books done by multiple publishers. I have an old cruddy version of Trinity, and the book's probably from the 1960s or 70s, but I love it. I also have a fancy version of Anime Explosion. There's probably different editions put out, and kind of like, with different covers. So, and really what you're looking for is just someone who understands what you want, but also can, especially if you're not the kind of person who's super big picture, you want to find someone who can enhance or, bring out what you want to do. You got to find a team, and you're not looking at just one person. A lot of agents will do editing and marketing for you, but at the same time, you'll still need to find a proofreader. You'll still need to find someone who can actually set the novel in a program to prepare for an ebook or for print. Dustveered, we specifically publish books that encourage diversity and different kind of stories. We look for different styles, so one thing we really want to do is get not just one particular style of fantasy. We want to get different types of fantasy, because that's kind of our thing. Ilva Publishing is all about characters who are women. Most of them are bisexual or gay. That's their shtick. That's what they propagate. That's what they champion. I know that Orbit tends to be more of a science fiction firm, so you need to kind of locate the publisher, not only that will take you on, but will also support you in the way that you want to. So shop around, look for people, pitch to different people, and also consider, the people that are going to tell the story you want, and also will give you the power of the want. But also be willing to realize that until you actually have, some chops, that you kind of watched as the book has actually washed its face, it's made its money, that you may have to make compromises. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to probably limit yourself a bit. So, I know this has been a bit of a short one. I actually recorded one earlier and I deleted it because it was very rambly, and I wanted to, kind of fix it up here. But essentially what I'm saying is the publishing process, it can be broken down to three things I learned in school, which is publishers want to make money, publishers want to save money, and publishers want to make books. So what you want to do is to find the group that will provide you with an editor that will help you refine your writing style and your voice, that will have a copy editor who can clean up and tell you bluntly, if necessary, when to fix things and can make you a better writer, to find a proofreader who will find those last minute things and get it done efficiently, so that you don't have, a negative with like a random emblem on the front cover because someone forgot to change the filter. That has happened and still happens now and then. That's why you have proofreaders. To find an artist, it really comes down to, if you want to do this yourself, you need to really think about what kind of cover you're going to have, how long this book is going to be, what kind of audience are you selling to. You have to be your own business person. If you find a publisher, they will have the team and the resources to help you. So, essentially, think about what kind of story you want to tell, finish that book, find the editor, and then move there. And if you have people who can read the book, they give a second opinion, that's better, because no matter how much you edit that book, other people are always going to have insights that you never thought of. Thanks, everybody. Have a good time, and as the Amazons say, the hen shush spirits to you.